All right, welcome back, Fight Fans. I go by the name of Vok.
And I'm Barack, the boxing bully.
And friend to the room, joining us now, one of the best fighters in the world, unified champ at 140, Mr. Teofimo Lopez.
The Underground King. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How my fellas doing over there, man?
We good, man.
We can't complain, man. Thanks for joining us as always. You've been on your typical Teofimo media tour, right? Expressing yourself candidly like you always do. So
yes,
first thing I want to get into before we get into a lot of stuff that you've said, one of the main things is you really realistically moving up to the welterweight division. Before we get to your fight at hand, Jermaine Ortiz, you talked about it. Everybody's seen a viral clip about you saying you would fight Terrence Crawford. There are a couple of things you said I don't agree with, but I want to talk about it with you about Terrence opponents being handicapped. You know, he's had nothing but knockouts at 147. Why is it that you feel that way about his opponents at 147?
Well, I'm not here to stain his accomplishments first and foremost. You know what I mean? With that being said, he is a two-time undisputed world champion. You know what I mean? And that's all kudos to Terrence Crawford. I think that's the issue right there. I speak on particularly the stylish and the upcoming of those fights. However, I cannot take away the fact that how he has dominated the 147 division and how he shows why he is the undisputed champion to this day. So when it comes to it, I'm not going to discredit or try to take away all the accomplishments that he did from 35 to 40 to now 47. Right. That's solidified Hall of Famer. This guy is going to be pound for pound, and he's in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what makes great fights happen like this. You gotta call out those guys because that's what makes the best fight the best, and that's what brings boxing back to where it's at, like it's always been.
I definitely appreciate that.
Listen, you guys should know me from on camera and off camera. I've always been someone that says, if that's the guy, that's the guy. Right. You know what I'm saying? All right, this is the Terrence Crawford era, then that's the guy. Right. You know what I mean? And we got to give it to him for that. That's his flowers. I give him his flowers. However, however, I'm a fighter as well, and I know I'm the best. And he says he's the best, so we're not too far away in weight class, and we can make that happen. And it's not. I shouldn't get bashed for it. I think that everybody should applaud the fact that there's going to be a lot more fights, whether it's this year, next year, however it goes, in the near future. You guys are going to see the best fight the best.
I don't think you should get any heat for wanting to fight the best and wanting to go up to 147. I mean, that's what elite fighters should have won. I think more people had a problem with you saying that his opponent's been handicapped, but let me
explain.
Okay, good.
My bad. My bad, Doc.
No, good.
Let me explain though. I'm a fighter, and I know if I know the fighter that I'm facing is injured, that brings a boost of confidence like no other. Because you're not fighting the guy that's 100%. And listen, I'm not gonna take away. Errol Spence done a lot of things. He collected every belt till he faced Terrence Crawford.
Right.
Crawford had the WBO and was holding on to the WBO while Errol Spence was going down the ranks, getting the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA. So, but then what happens is Errol Spence is not the same since the accident. Hasn't been the same since all these other things been going on. I mean, a lot of us saw that just from the ring walk, he didn't look like he was even happy to be there.
Yeah, but that's an excuse. I mean, he dominated that welterweight division for all those years. Like to your point, he looked great against Danny Garcia after the accident, and Danny's a credible welterweight, former world champion. And so that's why I always have an issue with the accident thing, because right after the accident, he fought Danny Garcia and looked phenomenal. At least a lot of people were saying that. Do you agree with that he looked good against Danny?
Yeah, then I agree with you. Shoot. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, when we face each other, I get to prove myself right and everybody else wrong. Right. That's what we talk about here. That's why I respect
you. You know what I mean? I mean,
I'm
shooting for the top.
You got to shoot for the top. That's the only way that you stay on top. And that's why you never be forgotten. From the four kings in the 80s, we're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard, talking about Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, and Roberto Duran. Out of those four, the only guy that actually fought all of them, so to speak, in that frame, despite him losing, but he made them tough fights, was Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
And Roberto Duran is known as the guy, despite all these great champions that were the four kings. you know, and he gets a lot of respect and acknowledgement. Whether he lost to all of them, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that this man went up and faced them.
Yeah, Tommy too,
he's
though.
acknowledged as one of the greatest lightweights of all time. A lot of people say Roberto Duran.
Yeah, so it's not about the wins and the losses. It's just about the best fighting the best. And I think that we need to break that curse of everybody having that donut. Enough with the donut. You know, look, I got a loss in my record. So what do I got to lose now? You know, what more do I have to lose? I don't care, you know. But what I realized is that, you know, also when we go about Jose Benavidez, when he faced Jose Benavidez, and I'm talking back to Terrence Crawford, look at the man's leg, look at his knee, had a whole brace on and everything. So, and the man was shot, you know, and he still had difficulties with him.
You know what I say? You know what I say about that? Because I've been quiet for a while. I say that he didn't have all of the best opponents because he couldn't. He was trying since 2017 to get a PBC fighter in the ring, and he couldn't. You know what I'm saying? He just couldn't. You know, so he just fought everybody that was available, and he destroyed everybody. You know what I mean? And I don't want to take nothing away from Spence neither, because Spence is so dope that he came off a car accident and beat Danny Garcia, came off an eye injury and beat Ugas. Like, he was that dope. So I'm not going to diminish him now, you know what I mean? Just because he got beaten. He's going to come back and still be a great fighter. You know, that's how I feel about Spence. But,
for sure.
Yeah, but let's talk about you though. Let's talk about you, because to me this is huge. You talking about the Super Bowl week out in Vegas. So the Super Bowl is going to be in Vegas on the 11th, and you're fighting on the 8th. That means Vegas is going to be packed out there. I know you're excited about this. This is probably the biggest ever for you.
Oh yes, this is the magnitude of this alone is like Godzilla and King Kong, man. This is how it feels, man, for me. It feels like that for me in the sport of boxing, so to speak, and especially in the business aspect of everything. Mm-hmm. You know, this really sets me to a different set of tone, you know, and also a set of respect to the corporate people out there and the ones that are actually watching us and wanting to invest in us. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why I try to keep myself as calm and collective as possible coming into this new year, because I understand the purpose of why I'm back. You know, did I want to come back to the sport of boxing? Absolutely not. However, boxing herself needs me to come back, because we're not seeing the best fights. We're not seeing the fighters face each other because they have their own agenda, listening to their own managers and promoters, you know, and hiding behind that screen so that they don't look like the guys that don't want to fight. You know, listen, I get that all the time. My team, my lawyers and everything, they be like, hey, let us be the bad guy. You got to be the clean face. Like, you know, and I'm like, I get y'all.
Makes sense.
Definitely. It makes sense, right? Yeah. Because we're not supposed to be nothing more than a good role model and image for the public.
Amen.
And you know, just like they do with the presidents, that's not working. But outside of that, in the political situation, but you know, so when we think about all these things, man, so I look at it like this, man. There's a debt that needs to be owed, and that's a debt owed to Jesus. And that's how I believe it, man. Amen. And I believe that the reason why boxing is still the toughest sport in the world of this day and era is because not only is it a warfare physically, but it's also a warfare spiritually. And I think a lot of people don't quite understand that until you're in there in that ring and you feel the ambience and you feel the energy and you feel the tension from one fighter to another across those rings. And that's the thing, you know, look, Terrence Crawford, tremendous fighter, and I know he's a great fighter, and I know he'll bring the best out of me because I have to stay alert. You know, you got to stay alert with Terrence Crawford, most definitely. You know what I mean? Any slip up, any slack, you know, it might be your last. So I definitely understand the responsibility of it. However, I am a fighter. I have a champion's heart. And I think I don't get acknowledged for it as much, but I don't care for that because the people just don't quite understand it because they're not fighters themselves. For instance, I'll give a prime example. Roy Jones Jr., he said it. Call a spade a spade. Give the man his credit. And Roy Jones Jr. said, you know, you don't box, so you're not going to know what we're talking about pretty much because they don't box. No one knows what it feels like to get punched in the face in front of millions of people and millions watching around the world, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and tens of thousands of people in the arena in attendance, you know, so it's that pinnacle, man. We have so much great talent in the sport of boxing, yet we're not seeing no one dance with each other with it.
Well, you're trying to do it. You've been doing it, since, I would say that the Jermaine Ortiz fight is a good measuring stick because he had a close fight with Loma, but you already beat Loma. So then that doesn't even need to be discussed, right? So
no, it does.
No, it does. It does in a sense, right? Because it was a close fight. So if you dispatch Ortiz, it makes a statement. But what I'm saying is you already beat him. So in 140, in the junior welterweight division, right? I want to know, how impressed were you with Devin Haney's performance against Regis Prograis?
Very good. I was good. I was impressed with his work. Good job. He knows how to keep himself away. A boxer will always know how to keep himself away from danger. That I will always say. I'm a boxer myself. I know how to move side to side and do those things. However, good game plan that they have for Regis Prograis. They definitely show some power in there, some good pop, and it's a good weight class that we're all in right now. Now, the only question is, it is, and not only that, but now the next big question is, are they willing to take the next step and face Teofimo Lopez, the lineal #1 champion in the world in the junior welterweight division? You know what I'm saying? And if they're not, our main goal right now this year is to launch my brand of Takeover, and really solidify myself, whether it's Takeover Promotions or Takeover Sports. I'm planning on really launching this into a bigger thing than what it is. I'm no longer just a boxer. I really want the world around to see that I'm a businessman at the same time. And I only just want to educate and help the youth and the next generation that is to come, and who knows, man, who knows? I don't know if Crawford and Spence are going to rematch. And if they're not, I'm here.
How long before you could go? How many fights do you want to fight at 140 before you say, you know what, I'm done with this division, I'm going to 147?
I listen to my body now. It's something that I didn't do prior to me being in the 135 division. So I listen to my body now. Wherever it wants to go, I let it take me. So if I go and it feels comfortable at 40, we go at 40. We'll see how I feel making this weight cut. Look, I haven't fought since June, so it's been about 6-7 months right now. So, and I'm actually I'm smooth sailing right now, and I love that. I took 6 weeks after I beat Josh Taylor. I took 6 weeks out, and then after that, just kept training. Right now, I'm at 140. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And right now, because I know what it means more than ever now to be the king of the division. Everybody wants the crown. So I got to respect myself as a true champion and the crown and actually represent it how it is, as a warrior, as a fighter, and as a champion's heart. So, right now I'm like 149, 148. I'm smooth sailing, and why? Because of preparation. And if you see these guys right now, Sabril Matias, look at the video. Look how fat that guy is right now. Like 190, it looks like.
So what happened? What happened with that fight? Because I know you called him out. Well, I heard.
Okay, so my father, who's my trainer and my head coach, Teofimo Lopez Sr., y'all of course know. Of course. And he goes and he's like, yo, you hear this guy calling you out? I'm going to talk to Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler. We're going to make this fight. I said, all right, cool. I'm cool. I don't care. I said, all right. He goes, and then we get back on the report that his hand is injured. But then we see a video. We see a video of him a week later or a few days after that playing pool with his friends. So if your hand is hurt and all this stuff, you shouldn't be playing pool. You shouldn't be doing all this stuff and getting all that. I mean, his hands are working to have him all eating all that food that he's doing. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think that I'm getting tired of the fact that, mentioning these fighters is great and all, but it's not if they're not wanting to fight. When I didn't have, this is another thing I really want everyone to tap in on. During the time I took the break off, and I, because I didn't spend time with my son, man. My son he just turned 2, and I kid you not, I missed almost a whole year of not spending time with that kid. Wow. So I got some of it back, not all of it, but I at least got half of it back in 6 months, and that was all I needed to get my mind and everything up. But it's all sacrifices, right? Everything's sacrifice. It's what makes a man. It's like God breaks you down so he could build you, not you build you. And a lot of people don't quite understand that till they're there. And I needed all these things, but then I realized, like, we tried to make the Devin Haney fight. I contacted him. I got his number through a source. And what happened? Like, he said no, he's his own boss and everything, and that he don't want to talk to me. But I'm like, wait, bro, but that's how Crawford and Spence
Wait, so that's what Devin Haney said to you over the phone?
Yeah, he was like, you ain't the boss. I ain't going to be talking to you because you're not your boss. Your boss is the Bob father. And I'm like, bro, even Spence is not the boss. He actually gets his advisors with who is Al Heyman to help him with all this stuff. And yet Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they both talked on the phone and made the fight happen.
That's a good point. Good point. Yeah.
And so did Floyd and Pacquiao. And Pacquiao was a Bob Arum fighter at the time. Yeah. And Floyd answers to Al Heyman to some degree. So obviously 2 fighters can talk about it. So I agree with you on that note.
Yeah, and not only that, I screenshotted from LinkedIn, because I have LinkedIn, and I screenshotted Joe Fisher, who is the executive in Madison Square Garden, and Sal in a group chat, and talking about, hey, I'm trying to get, I told Devin Haney, hey, listen, this is a screenshot. This is what they told me. If I get this fight with you, they'll put us and host us in Las Vegas and open up for Madison Square Garden Sphere, the Sphere.
Wow.
And have me and Devin Haney face each other at the Madison Square Garden Sphere. And the kid was like, oh, yeah, they better. But no fight. Didn't want to make the fight happen. And then what happened? They went back and did the fight with Regis Progress. Okay, then I went down to George Kambosos. I contacted my manager, David McWhorter.
Really?
I said, yo, yeah. And I said, yo, you know what? All right, since Haney don't want to fight, then we get Kambosos. What's up? Can we get a rematch? They said,
no, at 140 or 135? Because
I even told him, I said, listen, no, I even said it. I said, I'll even do a catchweight for this kid, and I'll even do it at 37 or 38. Wow. I said, you know what I'm saying?
Just to get your lick back to revenge that loss.
Wow.
And to be real, it's not even to revenge a loss. It's just to give this man another hard lesson that you got lucky on that part. I went in there with my own decision as a man, and I got to take that defeat as a man, right? On the chin. It's cool. However, so we went on to that. And then my manager went to talk to Lou DiBella. And they said no. And his strength and conditioning said, hey, I don't want you to fight Teofimo. And so what happened? They said, well, this is the plan. They plan on fighting Lomachenko in April in Australia so they could get more money for their buck before they lose, because they had a bad fight with Maxie Hughes. So it's like, oh, that rhymed too. All right. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, and then, all right, after that, boom, we went on to the next guy. All right, Sabrina Matias. That happened. So, but check this out, man. I need everybody to really tap in on this, man. The only ones that really gonna understand this is the ones from the East Coast. I'm sorry, because a lot of these boys don't understand what it really takes. And I ain't disrespecting the West. I love the West. Shoot, I'm in the West. But it's like this, man. Look at it. The moment we finally signed a deal and contract with Jermaine Ortiz, and before that, we had Jose Ramirez in the mix. He said, I won't be ready for February 8th. So he got out the picture.
Okay.
So we was going for the next guy, and for the next guy. And they all said no. Everybody, right? But the moment I signed the deal with Jermaine Ortiz for this fight, why is everybody talking about me now?
Well, that's how it happens. That's how. I'm glad you even mentioned George Kambosos, because I feel like that would be a great fight. You know, like Ox said, get your lick back, because I don't like to make no excuses for no fighters, but I actually know the doctor that said all of the things that you were going through during that fight and that you could have died, because that doctor is actually my doctor. You know, so I'm like, oh snap, this is one time where this is true. You know, like you really was in there sick fighting this guy, and I'd love to see you fight him at 100%.
Oh, you're going to see me fight him, whether it's in the ring or not. I'm going to punch his
Come on, bro.
No, we don't want you fighting outside the ring,
Stop.
No. I need everybody to realize something, though, man.
What's
like,
up?
there's a draw line. Like, and I said it. Like, I could talk about Crawford. I could talk about, like, a lot of these guys and their records and all that, but family is like, that's the line.
Right.
You know, there's a line there. And if you don't respect it, like I said in previous interviews, you already beat me, and then leave it alone. You know, but this guy still keeps on with his rants, and I ain't want to do that. So when I see him, it's on sight.
Nah,
you know,
nah, bro.
No, but what do I lose? I'm not gonna.
What do you
lose?
You're gonna, yes, you will. I mean, you was just talking about having that wonderful 6 months that you spent with your son. That's what you can lose. You know what I mean? Like, come on,
lose that.
I look at it like this. Since that loss, you became a lineal champion in another division. Like, no one cares about that loss anymore. In reality,
no. I know. But you know something? It's like I just need to I'm gangster too. I'm real hood. I just play it.
You want to get some stuff off your chest, Teo.
Nobody's
I think the
doubting
best way to do it is getting paid to do it inside the ring. That's the best option. But let me move on.
I know this is normal. Don't get me wrong. We understand where it's coming from.
The frustration.
But we your brothers, so we trying to tell you, just take a deep breath and make history.
Because everybody a gangster on the internet, and I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm tired of it. You know how frustrating it is to know that a lot of these guys just do it out of the clout. Like Arnold Barbosa put up, and I was trying to ignore this guy forever. I seen him try to do it and when we were in the ring. I seen he try to do it here. He had all his crowd, and then what do? Tells his people, yo, pull out your cameras. I'm gonna pull up on him. Right? And I already see it. I see the cameras. I'm over here taking photos with fans, with people that I'm respecting, Andrew Tabiti as well. You know what I'm saying? And boxers, and we're over there just having a quiet, good time. The man just fought. Celebrate your win with your team. But no, people are never satisfied, and they want to go on to the next guy, and that's me, right? But it's like, man, I thought about it, and thank gosh, and I'll say it, thank God I had that toothpick, man. I just grabbed that toothpick, and I was like, oh, I'll punch you right in that big chin that you got. But you know something? It's better that I walk away.
Yeah,
I said, you know what? It's better that I walk away. And I know I say a lot of stuff about Kambosos, but you're probably right. I'm probably not going to do it. You know why? Because like you guys were saying, and dang, man, it's a tough position. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's because, it's like these guys barking and barking. You never seen those videos where the dogs are barking between the cage, but the moment they open that cage, they stop.
100%.
They stop, right?
But Teo, you got to get used to this. You at the top. You at the top of the division. You was at the top 135-pound division. This comes with the territory. When they stop barking, that means you ain't doing nothing. That means you have nothing that they want. No so relevance. You're going to have to get used to just hearing it, like Floyd used to do. Floyd used to say, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. But you know something? And then I look at it, man. I walked away. My father used to teach me this at a younger age. He says, you walk away, and they could call you, and they was calling me a everybody. They was calling me a his team. They were saying and all that. And I know that the next slander they're going to probably use is against with my son. And that's fine, just to get under my skin. But I'm not going to, because I have the deals. They don't. I have the world title. They don't. And I hold the Lino. They don't. And I totally understand from that perspective, guys. Listen, I'm 26. Who do you think,
real quick, who do you think is the biggest fight for you at 140? What name? And you would prefer?
I already beat him.
Josh Taylor. Okay.
I already beat him.
Look, you become a good businessman in understanding the sport. Do you think that was the biggest potential business fight at 140?
Yeah, it was. However, I pissed a lot of people off that they downsized it, let alone not even give me performance of the year. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much I disrupt the sport of boxing. For whatever reason, I may not understand that part, and I don't need to. I just need to keep doing my part and have a smile along the journey now. I now could weigh off the options, and I'll say this again. I weigh off the options now, and I look at it, and it's like what I did at 135. I gave everybody vinegar rather than honey. Now this year, and in this weight class at 140, I'm going to give everybody honey rather than vinegar, because that's how you get more bees, right? You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And now is the time. And with more honey comes what? More money. So you don't think more money, a Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney fight is a more money fight than a Josh Taylor fight?
Eventually, of course.
Yes, eventually, when we talk about like the name brand, I guess. But if we talk about solidifying a statement in the boxing history, that was the biggest fight. It was
winning the lineal title, obviously.
It was not only that. It was undisputed versus a former undisputed champion.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of people did see Josh Taylor still as undisputed at 140. So kind of unofficially, a lot of people were saying this guy beat the top guy in the division. But right now, Devin has a title. Is your goal to be undisputed officially at 140, like a lot of people felt you were at 135?
My goal is to do it at 47. My goal is to do it at 47. I already did it at 40. And I know when I die, that's when they'll announce that I was a 2-time undisputed champion, moved on to that. But I don't want that. You know, I don't want them to give me my credits and my flowers when I'm dead. No. I want it now. You know what I'm saying? I want it now. I want to see them give me that. And the only way I'm able to do that is beating fighters like Terrence Crawford, getting that respect, earning it more so, and solidifying it like I am the man of the mans. I am son of man. And that's really what it comes to. You know, it's like, look, I'm 26 and they're now trying to block my vision of getting to Crawford because they don't want me to do it. But hey, this is not my plan, homie. This is God's plan. And no one can stop that. When you have something set for you and you realize what your why is, you got purpose. And when you got purpose in life, you got everything. And when you got everything, you got God, and that's life, bro.
So, with that being said, I agree with all of those things. Like, do you have a desire to? I know you want the top dog at 147, which is Terrence Crawford. But does part of you want to fight Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia because there was always talk about you guys fighting each other, either guy or both guys?
Those guys don't want to fight me. I'll be real with you guys. They don't want to fight me.
He said he tried to fight.
Do you want?
He said he tried to fight certain guys.
No, I'm talking about Devin Haney, and no, I know that Devin. I know he mentioned earlier about wanting to fight, but I'm saying still that they didn't happen. The fights didn't happen. Do you have a desire to eventually make those fights?
God is my matchmaker, so when it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like Bill Haney don't care for his son. And I'll say it right now. He don't care for his son. He don't care for Devin Haney like that. It's just a money pit. You know what I'm saying? It's just to make more money.
Why would you say that? I mean, pimping ain't easy. You wild, bro.
Pimping ain't easy, G. Come on, I'm a pimp myself. I be pimping the media in the game, but I love everybody, and I'm not doing it in disrespect. Listen,
Bill has, I mean, at least in my experience, has always shown a lot of love for his son. And
he fights for his son.
Before anybody was promoting him, before he signed to anybody, he was doing everything possible to put his son on the level where he is now. So I see Devin, I don't know them personally. I don't know what you know, but I see Bill as a good father that loves his son very much. But
we could try that. We could try that. Okay, we could try that and all that other stuff. However, I've known these guys since we were 12, 13. We grew up in the amateurs. We all know each other. We all know one another very well. I know when Tank Davis had a lot of problems, who is now called Wahid, he had a lot of problems in the amateurs making weight, even back in the National Silver Gloves. I mean, these are things that we have track records of. You know, me and Tank, we know each other very well because we were in the East Coast and we had it called Region 3. That was our region when we used to fight in the amateurs. So we all used to go up there in North Carolina, and then we have everybody from DC, Headbangers. We used to have all the Gary Russell family. I mean, like, it's history. And it's a lot of history. That's
the Russell family said
Gordo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they love you.
They all know me by Gordo because that's how long we've all known each other in the game. You know, it's kind of sad how things have turned, you know, and hopefully one day we all do get in the ring and share it. You know, this is not about...
Yeah, speaking of Tank, Tio, sorry to cut you off, but one of the most explosive fights in all of boxing, when I ask hardcore fans, they say you versus Tank Davis. That's the fight a lot of people want to see. Is that on your radar?
You know what's on my radar, man? Is like anyone and everyone is on my radar.
Gotcha.
You know, whoever wants to step onto the plate. Whoever wants to step onto the plate. I'm not here to be selective on fighters. I'm here to just give the fight fans, the boxing gods, and to boxing itself, because boxing made who I am today. I wouldn't be the takeover if it wasn't for boxing. So,
no doubt.
So I'm just here to reward back what boxing did for me. And I cried, man. I'll be honest with you guys, man. I cried for 4 days prior to signing that deal and contract with Jermaine Ortiz, man.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because I'm tired. You know, it's a lot. It's a warfare spiritual, man. It's very spiritual.
Because he wasn't the opponent that you wanted? You wanted Ramirez or...
No.
Okay.
It's because of the hassle. You know, I'm just tired of... I'm tired of always facing the devil at hand, you know. It gets a little exhausting after beating his ass all the time. So I kind of liked having that moment of 6 months of actually feeling like a father and having peace in my life.
Yes, sir.
You know, now we come back to this little chaos, but it's not really chaos. I think that this is just to help me understand a bit more of, you know, God needs me to come back. There's a debt that needs to be owed, and no one's paying it right now for Jesus. And I need to pay it. I need to pay it for him, if anything. If I could pay a little bit.
And hopefully those 6 months gave you clarity where you can create some sort of balance now and still be in this vicious sport. We know how tough it is all around, but still be a father and be a family man at the same time. I know it's a tough task. But
and not only that, guys, I did, you know, like Barack was saying earlier, you know, Dr. Lyndon Dahl. I mean, I nearly lost my life. You know, I shouldn't be here right now. So now that I have that connection with my son, of course I was crying because I'm like, please, God, just protect me along this way. I do not want to die to see my son not have guidance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know he will take care of my son if I'm not here. However, will it be easy? You want to be here. I want to be here to celebrate his own accomplishments. I want to celebrate his own growth. I want to be there and live. I want to live old. And that's, you know, and I think the only way I'm able to even live old is by showing God how bad I really want to do this, by facing everybody in the boxing world.
Okay, that sounds great. No, you mentioned earlier, you mentioned the amateurs, and I'm like, a lot of fighters sometimes bring up what happened in the amateurs, but I don't see you doing that. I don't see you saying, you know, me and Jermaine Ortiz, we fought in the amateurs. I beat him. Do you remember that fight? You remember how it went? Why aren't you talking about that?
Cause I'm a promoter, man. I gotta sell the fight.
You saying you don't want to say, I beat him already.
You don't want to downplay Ortiz.
I ain't trying to downplay, buddy. I ain't trying to downplay him because, hey, at the end of the day, that was 9 years ago. Yeah. And a lot can change in 9 years. You know what I'm saying? Fighter, yeah. He's a much better fighter than
we understand that and we respect that, but I'm just saying fighters use that. They make whole fights based off that. You know, so
not Teofimo, man. I think not me.
Listen, I think this is a great fight, a great matchup, and you went down the line trying to make all of the fights that you wanted to make.
But I know some shit.
What's that?
He ain't gonna be able to stop the same shit that I did to him in the National Golden Glove Finals. That's what I'll tell y'all today. Because he still makes the same mistakes. And no matter what, and I said this in front of Josh Taylor when we had the Trash Talk episode on ESPN, and I'll say it here, they could try to change it now, but the moment they feel these punches, they go back to the same thing. The only thing they know best, and that's their basics. That's all I'm gonna tell you guys. No matter what, they could try all they want. You know why I focus so much on my craft? Like, I'm trying to even decode freaking atoms. You know how hard that is to decode atoms? Because we all are one. So it's like, you know how hard that is to go down to that micro and really go into it, to that depth of core. It's because that is the only way I get to find new ideas and new styles into my arsenal that I get to add. See, I am not just a solid or one-dimensional fighter. I'm universal. And when you face a universal dimensional fighter, it's like you facing the universe yourself. and it comes to that pinnacle, man. And all I could say is, like, Jermaine Ortiz, stay ready, stay training, listen to your people. You know what I'm saying? You got a good team, and let's give the fans what they want to see. And that's a great fight.
And that's on Super Bowl weekend.
Absolutely. Before you go, I wanted to know, I don't know if you addressed this already, the fight between Rolly and Barroso. You know,
yes.
It was stopped too early. He wasn't even landing those shots. That's what I thought. What'd you think about that?
What I think about it, God said it right there. Look how he beat O'Hara Davis in the first round.
Yeah,
I mean, that and the man knew, and he went down on his knees and raised his hands because he is the champion, not Rolando Romero. But Rolly got more of a name than Barroso. And that's why they call it business of boxing. It's just, and that's sad because now we're not getting the real fighters. Now we're getting what? Now we're getting guys that they want to put on display rather than real champions and real tough competitors, you know? So what's happening to the sport? Little do they know with this boxing gimmick of business that they have in mind. And it's not discrediting anything that they do. I understand that it's an investment that they have in there. However, you got to really think about it. If we keep this gimmick up, and if we keep this up, like I said before about Showtime being out of boxing within 2-3 years, and it happened, I'll say it here. If we keep this up and we don't give the fight fans and the ones that really strive to want to see the best fight the best, we're gonna see boxing die within 5 years. We're probably gonna see AIs being the the freaking entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because we shouldn't be like that. You know, there's a certain way that we got to conduct ourselves as athletes and as champions, most importantly. And if you don't respect boxing, I promise you, boxing is going to make you respect her. And that's really it.
About that. That's a real statement right there.
And it's like, it's almost like everyone's shooting themselves in the leg. Matter of fact, in the head. Because if we don't got, this is my job. You know, 22 years in the field of boxing, it's my job. You know what I'm saying? So if this keeps going on and boxing's dead, then there goes everybody's job. You know, there goes Akim Barak's job. You know what I'm saying?
Dang, not my job.
No doubt.
Dang. You know, but you know,
we're gonna start talking about MMA and football and basketball. We're gonna figure it out. Listen, really quick. So we gotta get out of here. Super Bowl weekend. All right. On the 8th of February is going down one of the best fighters in the world, one of the pound for pound best, Teofimo Lopez against Jermaine Ortiz. You don't want to miss it, man. Thank you for joining us as always, champ. We appreciate you.
Oh, most definitely, guys. Thank you, everybody. Sir. And to the DAZN Boxing Show. What up, baby? Let's go.